administrative skills, no, most of the time, task-oriented, pwede mo nga sabihin taskmaster. Ganun ba talaga ang heart of leadership? John, welcome to our Victory Baliwag Leadership Flow. We're going to talk about administrative gifts as maybe na observe ng iba. It was about campus ministry, pastoral, ngayon naman administrative. So welcome sa ating vlog number 9.
Number 9.
What can you say?
It was a privilege. Yun po. Maraming salamat po sa opportunity to somewhat impart kung ano man yung ano ko ngayon, journey ko as an admin dito po sa church natin.
Yeah. And so, administrative skills, no, most of the time, task-oriented, pwede mo nga sabihin taskmaster. Ganun ba talaga ang heart of leadership? Can you relate to that? How can we balance that before just we read the scripture?
As ano po, as a perspective ng isang admin, ako po, kahit nung bago pa man ako, adminan po ako sa dati kong work.
Yeah.
And obviously, the goal is to really finish the task. Whatever happens. And somewhat on the church, nadadala ko po yun before. And yet, after this long journey of being in the church, I think there's a better way of doing administration.
Yeah, wow. And so, we're gonna, lalo na, no, administratively, pag gumaling ka tapos wala kang heart, wala kang character, it would seem like you're just driving people, no, towards a certain goal. And so we want to learn from Psalm chapter 78, verse 70, chapter 78, verse 70. So see, King David, Asaph, a worship leader, was writing about him. And this is what was said there. He chose David, his servant, and took him from the sheepfolds. And so, I think the first thing that we need to realize, it is God chose you as a leader. So again, this is Victory Baliwag Leadership Flow. Minsan yung mga leaders, interns natin, campus ministry, parang nahihirapan sila mag-flow, no? They think they need to be great, and it's true, they need to improve, but in the end, leadership is something not because na magaling ka, but because God chose you. In fact, si David nga, na-overlook yan often, no? Parang ang dami nang napagpilian kasi parang hindi ito eh. Sabi ni Samuel, meron pa bang iba? Wala na, pero meron. parang ano lang, singit lang siya. And yet, kahit ano pang mangyari sa buhay mo dyan, and I'm amazed, no? You're even leading a service now. Who would have thought, no? Ako rin eh, I don't think I would have planned that. It's really God who is putting you there. How encouraging is that, no? Na even though people overlook your leadership, God is the one who really chooses you. Can you relate to that?
Ako po kasi, once na kapag sinabi sa akin, lalo na po yung verse na yan, every time that I will be reading that, I remember those times that I will just do things that may seem for me to fit into that leadership, into that position. Para kung ano yan eh, parang sa basketball yan, para maging captain ball ka, kailangan ikaw yung pinakamagaling or else hindi ka susundan ng mga tao. But on that case po kasi kay David, di ba? We can see that he is the youngest, he is the weakest in terms of the physique, and yet God has really placed that leadership position on him. So ibig sabihin, it is not our words, but it is the appointment of God.
Yeah. So I think ang result nun sa mga leaders natin, yung mawala yung competition, yung magpagalingan, driving people. Kasi nga, David is an overlooked leader. So, and yet, because of the grace of God in his life, nangyari yun, no? And so, important for those who have strong administrative gifts na sana maisip natin na kaya kami ganyang grace, si Lord lang din yung may dahilan. So, bakit natin kailangan balansehin? Sabi ng verse 71, Psalm 78, from following the nursing ooze, He brought him to shepherd Jacob, his people, Israel, his inheritance. So, it is God's people na ipinapamana kay David. So, yes, God chose you to be a leader, not just primarily to administer the people, but to shepherd the people. And it's not your people, no? It's God's people. And that's the reason why we don't just wanna be task-oriented with the people, but to actually shepherd them. And yun yung inheritance natin. Interesting, no? Ang inheritance pala natin sa simbahan, tao. Not just these people, but even the next generation. So, over the past years, how has this principle, no, allowed us to treat people better? No, how kung magaling siyang leader, pero how does he treat people? Parang baka yun naman yung mas tamang tingnan. Tama, nasundan mo ba yun? Yung parang ang galing yung leader, pero parang the way he treats people, parang hindi marespeto, parang nanguutos lang dito, here and there. What can you relate to that?
As someone who has been from that, na task-oriented, into someone who I really think had a deeper understanding on that rather than myself, yung dating ako. Dati kasi, di ba, sabi mo, Pastor Loyd, task-oriented, we just checking the box. Pero once that you have a deeper understanding that the very image of those people is the very imprint of God.
Yeah.
Yung value kasi nila tumataas. Yung tingin natin sa kanila, it's not just we are looking at them, we are
not
looking
just a
at
means
God.
to an end, no?
Hindi lang po yun. So, that's the reason why we are having this desire to be a really good shepherd of God's people. Na we don't just look at them as something of value, but of value from God. Mas God yung nagbigay ng value sa kanila. Yun po yung nagiging thinking ko or nakikita ko dun sa part na yun.
That's amazing. So, ano nga talaga yung kailangan mangyari? Hindi lang basta maging task-oriented, just driving people, but shepherding people. Verse 72, Psalm 78, sabi niya, with upright heart, He shepherded them and guided them with skillful hand. And so you see, secondary yung skill, no? Primary is, with an upright heart, you shepherd people. And most of the time, this world is focused on skill. And totoo naman, di ba? Kaya lang kasi, minsan, the skill is too much for the character. To the point na, hindi kayang i-handle ng character yung skill. So, biblically speaking, we need an upright heart. So that skillfully, we could, actually, three things, no? This is how we flow in our leadership. Sa mga nililid natin, victory groups, life groups, shepherding means feeding, leading, protecting them. Okay? So not just mag-ministry kayo, ministry. Nakakatawa, no? In our church, at least even in our community, hindi natin na naririnig yun, tama na yan. Pahinga ka muna. Focus ka kay Lord. Yung mga ganon, hindi yung pagka hindi mo nagagawa, ano ba yan? Kulang ka yata ng faith kay Lord. Parang ganon. Hindi ito you're protecting their marriage, you're protecting their family time. Is that something that you observe that needs to be continued in the way we lead our victory groups, our ministries?
It is ano po sa akin, on my end, on my perspective, I really see the desire of the church to really have that kind of protection to not just on volunteers but all of the people inside the church. Kasi alam naman po natin that we are a church that is run by volunteers. By volunteers, and those volunteers have their separate skills, and most of the time they have their other lives also. But again, yung teaching naman po natin, alam naman po natin na it is not just on words, but rather what is valuable to God. And yung alam naman po natin yung priorities natin when it comes to God. That is God, that is family, the friends. And kung titingnan nga po natin, nasa huling-huli yung ministry, di ba? So I think that's really the value of our movement. And that is to be in sync with what is the priority of God.
Parang public ministry is coming from private ministry with an upright heart, and then publicly with a skillful hand. So therefore, we're not really driving the people, we are shepherding the people, we feed, we know, as Victory Group leaders, no, interns, we don't just feed, lead, we also protect the sheep, because this is not really our people, this is God's people. So that is how we flow in our leadership. Thank you, bro.
Thank you po.